it's Dave at No Recipe Required, and tonight I'm simply going to say meatballs. I absolutely love them, really easy to do, and I make huge batches, freeze them, they're great, you know, taken out of the freezer, you just warm them up, toss them with spaghetti or eat them on their own. They're going to be absolutely awesome, one of your favorites, I guarantee it. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my meatball recipe starts off on the stovetop. I got a saute pan here over medium heat. Coat the bottom with olive oil, and then add a large yellow onion that I've diced up pretty finely, and a few garlic cloves, also diced up. A little bit of salt to that, and we're just looking to soften these up, get them translucent. We don't want to brown anything. I've also got a pot of my basic tomato sauce going because I like to pan fry the meatballs and then poach them off in the sauce. So we're going to go for about 7 minutes or so until these are translucent and nice and soft. So once your onions are soft and translucent, you just want to kill the heat, let them cool down before we add them to the meat. I've got about 3 pounds of meat here, which I liberally season with salt and pepper. We've got about half ground beef and then a quarter each pork and veal, both ground. Half a cup of Parmesan cheese, a couple tablespoons of fresh chopped parsley, 3 eggs, and then a liberal amount, call it maybe a full cup, maybe a cup and a half of breadcrumbs go in. Doesn't have to be super exact, and if you know, you can't find veal or pork, you know, you can substitute some of the other, or change the ratios in the meat just a little bit. You want to mix everything together very nice and thoroughly. I forgot to put pepper in there. I will come back and do that. Once everything is mixed, you want to shape off just a little tiny meatball and go ahead and cook it off as a taster to make sure you've got the seasoning exactly where you want it. If not, you just come back in and add a little bit more salt and pepper. So pepper wasn't the only thing I forgot to add. I forgot to add our onions, which we pulled off, let cool. You want to mix those in as well. So my meatball taster came out just fine. So what I do is just roll them out now. I've got some aluminum foil just kind of broken down on the counter here, and I do the assembly line technique. I'll just like spoon out pieces of or clumps of meat, and then come back around, roll them up with my hands. I prefer them a little bigger, only to save me a little bit of work, because you figure a little bigger meatball means fewer meatballs, fewer rolling, less cooking, all that great and wonderful stuff. So we're done now. We're going to sear these off in a pan, and then we'll finish them off poaching in our tomato sauce. So I like using a non-stick pan over medium heat to sear off the outside of our meatballs. And you don't need a super hot pan. We're just looking to get kind of brown on roughly all sides. You know, if you do kind of 2 or 3 sides, that's going to be great. After about 3 or 4 minutes on this side, we just literally turn it around, brown the other side. And as they cook off, just set them off to the side on a cutting board or in a bowl or something like that. Once we get them all done, we'll transfer them over into our tomato sauce. So as you're searing off the meatballs, you're looking for that brown crust on, like I said, 2, 3 sides if you have the patience for it. That'll give you a great flavor in the final sauce and in the final product. Okay, so we seared off our meatballs in the pan, and I just held them off to the side while I finished getting the rest of them done. And what I'm going to do is finish cooking them in my basic tomato sauce. You can see, or I think you can see if I find one, you know, the edges are not quite done. Or sorry, the inside is not quite done. We need to cook them through, and we do that in the sauce. It kind of blends all the flavors together, makes them absolutely awesome. The one thing you want to make sure you don't do, kind of push them in there, press them in there gently, but don't come in and stir them around or you're going to break up the meatballs. You want to make sure you're very gentle with it. And just do it on a light simmer for about 20 minutes because we just want them cooked through. We don't want to overcook the meatballs. The meatballs will be cooked through after 20 or 30 minutes of simmering. You want to pull them out, you can serve them however you want. I like them just plain like this, toss them with pasta. It all is great. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.